Hello, hello, hello. This is Else Kennedy from Bemis Crafty Corner, and today I'm going to do a viewer's request. I do a lot of pocket letters during the course of the year, and I've had a couple of my viewers ask, how those are done, and so on and so forth. So I picked a very general topic. We're going to do butterflies, and I'm going to walk you through my process. It may not be the same as everyone else's, but it's my process. So I'm going to walk you through that. And we're going to start off with one of these 9-card collector sleeves. And sometimes, you do a mini pocket letter, in which case you would only use 3. Some people go this way, some people go this way. It's a matter of personal preference. But generally it's a crossed. So this is going to be a 9-card pocket letter, which is the standard. And so I'm going to start off with some paper, and I have just some scrapbook cardstock here, and I'm going to be looking for something to put in the background. So let's see. We'll do this one. It's a nice spring greeny color. I'm going to get a paper cutter out, and we're going to get started just making the cards. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I always do is I always decide, do I want to put the card on a solid background, or do I want to put a solid background on my cardstock? And I think for this one, I'm going to do, this is my background, and this is going to be my foreground. So the first thing I need to do is cut my 9 cards. A nice fresh blade in my trimmer, and I'm going to cut them. Now these are the same size as a playing card, so 2.5 by 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of strips here. Now, if you're somebody who makes a lot of pocket letters, you'll find that you'll start cutting your scraps down to the right size. So for my backgrounds, they're 3.5 by 2.5. So once I have all 9 cut, and sometimes I'll do the solid color on some of the backs, and then I'll do do solid, and then my decorated, and my solid, and my decorated, my solid, my decorated, solid, decorated, solid. It's just to give it a little bit of visual variety. Okay, so these are 3.5 by 2.5, and I'm going to set those to the side. Next, I'm going to cut this, which is my decorator, and this is going to be, it's directional, so I want to make sure that I cut this the right direction. These are going to be 2.25 by 3.25, so just 1/4 of an inch smaller. And then we'll cut these to 3.25. And 9. Okay. So now I have all of my cards cut. So the next thing is going to be to round corners, ink things, and put them together, okay? So, if I want to leave them square, I can leave them square. If not, I'm going to round my corners. So I'm going to go ahead and round my corners, and then I'm going to just ink the edges here. And when I come back, we'll start putting all of these together, okay? I'll be right back. All right, so now I have these inked, and I have them all cut and corners rounded and all that other stuff. Now I'm going to put them together. Again, looking for visual interest. I inked these, not in Vintage Photo. I inked these with like a green color. Mowed lawn. So that they pop a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is just glue these down to the backs. And the other thing that you are going to notice here is that I used different corner rounders. On the backings, I just went with a regular round corner rounder. On the fronts, I used a square edge. As you can see, it's flat here. And that just gives it a different look and a different appeal. The whole idea of this is visual attractiveness. For me, it's about, you know, the visual interest. So, I'm going to go ahead and glue all these down, and then when I come back, we'll move on to, you know, the next step of the process, which is putting the cards in, you know, laying them out and decorating them in a pleasing way. Okay, so our topic is butterflies. I have 9 cards, which I've begun setting up. They're all inked and cut and all that good stuff. And the next step in the process is decorating them. So I will be back in just a few minutes, and we will get these decorated. Okay? I'll be right back. All right, so here's my layout, and you know, this may change. I may decide I don't want these two pieces next to each other. I may decide that I need them next to each other, okay? But this is a general layout of what the cards would look like. Now at this point I have to decide how I'm going to decorate them within the theme. And our theme for this one is butterflies. Well, we've already kind of gone with some brightness, so we're probably going to stick to bright, okay? And we are going to begin with the rule of 3, and that is 3 elements on each of the cards. Okay, so whether that's washi tape, a word, and an image, or an image, bling, and a piece of ribbon, each one of these cards gets 3 elements. All right, now remember, this is the way that I do it. It may not be the way that everybody does it, but I do it the way that it was originally done, down to the backs of them, okay? So, you know, some people don't. Some people just put in a card and they add like 1 or 2 things to it, and that's it. And that's okay. That's their expression of it. For me, I like to get a little bit more in depth, because I want the person that receives it to be glad that they received it, okay? So, I am going to get out some things that I think might work with this one, and when I get back, we'll go ahead and start putting stuff on here. I'll be right back. So, I've gotten out some things. I have some washi tape, and this is a very busy background, so I don't know if I want to go like over the top, or if I want to keep it kind of basic. So I have 2 options for the washi tape, and I got out my butterflies, as I have a whole box of those, and so I got out my butterflies, and I'm kind of looking at it, trying to figure out, you know, how I want to go. So, wait a minute. I got a whole pack I've never even opened. Let's take a look at these suckers. These are interesting. Look at these. I think I'm going to use these. Because they're new, you know, like a new pair of shoes. You got to play with them as soon as you get them. A new shirt, got to wear it. Look, it's a thing we pick up when we're kids, you know. And it never changes as we get older. All right, so I'm going to pull some of these out. We're going to put them on here and see how they look. We already have a blue one, so we don't want to do a blue one. There's a purple one. That'll work. Oop. Get this out of the way. I kind of like this one. And I have an orange one. I've already used a green one. And obviously, I'm going to have to use, you know, the same colors eventually. I want to put two reds by each other. And let's see. It's a little too samey. Let's see. No. Maybe. Might be too much. All right. Maybe we won't use these. I don't know. I'm just looking. So I basically get an image on here that I can look at and go, is this what I want? Let's see. And then I can make a choice. This looks very washed out to me, so we're going to get rid of that one. Let's see if there's something else I'd rather use. You know, it is butterflies, but that doesn't mean that we can't use, you know, a dragonfly. Here's a yellow one. We don't have a yellow one on here. That one will work. I like that one better. Because like I have a little dragonfly here that I could use instead of like one of these butterflies. I could put a dragonfly. But then I'd have to use more than one. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I have these on here. Now I'm going to take these and put them in the bin for now. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at this for a little bit and decide, do I want to put on some washi tape? If I do, which I probably should have put on before I glued these down, but if I do, there's ways of doing it, okay? I use a lot of tape when I'm putting on washi, especially when I can't make up my mind. So, I don't know, I'm kind of digging this so far. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of look at this and see if I want to move any of these around, and if I want to add some washi tape where I want to do it. I'll be back after I make those decisions. Alrighty, so I thought about it, and after much consideration I decided I'm going to go with the green sparkly tape instead of the blue tape. So, what I'm going to do is move my pieces over to the side. And I'm sort of keeping them in the order that I've already determined I want them in. And I'm going to start putting some washi down. Now, because I can't wrap this around the back because I already put the fronts on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine where my washi tape's going to go on each one. And then if I need to, I can add a little tape underneath, okay? I think this is going to be okay without it. So then as I decide where each piece of tape is going to be, then I can go ahead and put down my stickers. And I could trim these if I wanted to, you know, fussy cut a little bit of the outside off. But I don't think I need to. And I'm just randomly going to be putting my tape on here. And there. There we go. That's 2. Do this one over here. There we go. Yeah, we'll get this one on, and then I'll go ahead and do these off camera because you guys don't want to sit here and watch me put down 6 more butterflies. And when I have them all down, then I'll come back and then we'll move on to the next step in the process, okay? I'll be right back. So now that I have all those down, I'm going to move on to my third element, which for me is going to be some bling. So I have out some green bling here. Yep, there's the Aussie. I'm going to use different shades of green bling, but the idea is to have 3 of each on each one of these cards. here, here, and here, and over here, and then the third one here, and I'm going to need a third one over here. All right, so now I've met the element requirements, okay? So I have 3 elements. I have the focal point, the bling, and the tape. All right, I also have ink in a top piece. So now, I'm going to put these away. And then I'm going to decide if I want to put a word or something on here. And if I do, then I'm going to get that taken care of. So let me take a look and see if I want to put a word on. Oh, what would I put on here if I were a word? Let's see. I think if I were a word and I was going to be put on here, I think that I would probably do something. Let's see. Let's get a pair of scissors. There we go. Pair of scissors. And I have the word limitless. And I'm going to use the same green that I used on the backgrounds, just so it stands up. And then I'm going to set this off the page a little bit. So let me grab a couple of dimensionals. Take the backs off. And I could put a word on each one of these. I could put a word on one of them, whatever. I'm just going to do one. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay, now the next part of this is going to be putting it into the packaging. So I'm going to go ahead and get the packaging out so we can get this pocket letter made into a pocket letter. And then we're going to do some stuff with the back. I'll be right back. All right, so here's my sleeve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cards into my pocket letter sleeve. Now, the next part of this is personal preference. Okay? But if you join a group that does this and you're doing a swap in that group, if you look at past swaps, you'll see how their group works. Some groups, they don't put anything in there. Some groups, they overload them. And you can kind of get an idea of what your partner is going to do based on what they have done. So now I have this all in here, and this is what's called a completed pocket letter. Now, I want to dress it up a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my paper trimmer. Can you believe I've lost a paper trimmer? That's impressive. Okay, well, I guess I'll use this one. That's why I have so many. All right, so see this little strip right here? I like to dress it up. And so I cut a little piece. And you can ink this, you don't, or not, it's up to you. And I use a pokey tool. And I open this little slot. And then I slip my piece of paper that I trimmed into there. Not always easy, but it can be done. Now, I'm going to do this one a little bit over the top. The group that I'm currently with, if you take a pocket letter and you go to the post office, it's going to cost you about $5 to $6 to mail it. Okay? And that is if you put it in a regular package, as a package. I have to tell you, I never had this much trouble doing this. Here we go. Got it. So I'm just going to feed this down. And I could use the plain color if I wanted to, you know. Oh, and of course I get the ones that have the split. So if you get this kind that has the split over here as well, just put your pokey tool in there. And it keeps it underneath it. And I'm just going to push this in. Again, you don't have to do this. I do it. It's no big deal. A lot of people just put washi tape on it right there. Okay, I'm going to pull it out just a little bit, trim that piece off, and then put it the rest of the way in. And I'll just use my pokey tool for that, just to scoot it down a little bit. There we go. So now I have that in there. So now we come to the other part of this, and that is the stuff. Well, let me tell you, there's 3 things that need to be in a pocket letter. Okay, this is from original when they began. Tea. Put a bag of tea in. Usually you put it in the center pocket. Then you want to put in one of these types of, like a little something that says that you made the pocket letter and who you made it for. This goes in the upper left hand side. In the upper right hand side, you're going to put a personal note to the person that you're sending it to. Aha, get the idea? It's a letter. So you put a note in there. They drink the tea, look at the pretty thing, read your note. Okay? Now, other things that are recommended in pocket letters include die cuts. So this is a butterfly one. So there's a butterfly die cut. And let's see what else we got. There's one that says live. And I get these from, you know, other people send me stuff, you know, like in other pocket letters. And if I can't use it, then I just forward it to the next person that I think can. Look at that. That's gorgeous. We'll keep that. And some of this is out of my personal stash, you know, but I basically come in and I'm going to put some stuff in the pockets. And let's see. tickets. Let's see. I've got this. Let me see if I can cut these apart. I can. There we go. So I've got a couple of appliques that I can put in one of the pockets. And what else? Oh, I had my tickets. I wanted to put those in with my die cuts. So there. And I have these little bookmarks. Now that won't fit in there, but that's okay because I can still send it. Oh, these are cute. This is sticky paper. And I have some like stamps. So if somebody's making a traveler's notebook, those are cute. So I'm going to put some of those in there. Put this with die cuts. Okay. Then another thing that's kind of a, yeah, you normally put it in here, is some washi tape samples. It doesn't have to be the washi tape that you used. It can be any washi tape that you want. So I have this one right here. It's very pretty. It's double-sided. You have to, you know, pull the tape off of it. So what I'm going to do is give them a generous piece, about a foot. Trim this down. This is the kind you peel the back off of. And I'm going to try and wrap it on here. And if it doesn't fit, then, you know, it's not going to fit. So what I'm going to do is just kind of wrap it over on itself. And we're going to put that in one of the pockets. And then we'll do some of the cloud washi because that's pretty. And you don't have to use these little bobbins if you don't have them. You can just wrap it around a playing card. You know, 2 or 3 kinds of washi tape on a playing card works really well. Let's see if we can actually get this to... There we go. And again, I try to give them, you know, 12 to 15 inches or so, 12 to 18 inches of washi tape, foot and a half. You know, so they can actually do something with it. I have to tell you, I'm usually much better at this. Okay. Well, I guess that's what they're getting. Okay. So then I'll put that in there. And what else? Well, I still have to put a letter in. What else do I want to put in here? Well, I can also add in some little bits and pieces. So let me go up here, my little bits and pieces. And I have some of these little cuts. Put those in there. Perfect. Ooh. Now use that word on the front. So let me put some of those in here. And I can add some bling in here if I want. A little bit of bling. Never hurt anybody. Let's see. Now you do want to be careful with the bling, and I'll tell you why. When you put in bling, you're making this lumpy. okay? So I have some dark green bling here, which I think will work with a lot of different projects. So I'm just gonna cut a few strips of this off. There we go. I'm going to include these. I'll put them over here. Okay. So now I have stuff in the back. Okay. So now I need to get this ready to go. Okay. So normally I would have a note in here. I don't have a note in here because, you know, I could put a tassel on here if I wanted to put a tassel on here. So I'm going to fold this in on itself. And I'm going to get out an envelope. I'm folding it in so that the bumpy stuff is on the inside, okay? I have a nice heavy envelope. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Okay. And then I always do this. I have these little bags of goodies. And I always make sure that I put that in there. Just like that. We wanted to send this bookmark, so we're going to put that in there as well. Okay. So now that I have all of that in there, I'm going to tape this shut. Okay. Then I'm going to put on a sticker that says something nice, you know. Ooh, here we go. Pretty things. This says pretty things inside. Let me grab one of these, which I'm going to put on here. And then I'll cover this with tape, packing tape, to make sure that it's sealed. My average pocket letter to ship costs me about $2, less than $2.50, okay? Because here's the thing. This is an envelope that's still under the limit as far as height. So you can send this as a letter, but because you can't machine it, you just have to put extra postage on it. And there's no difference of a quarter of an inch on here anywhere. So what I do is I just take this and I just put like a $1.87 stamp. I check on the post office to see how much. I'll weigh it and everything. It's probably about 3 ounces. That's my usual. And then I send this with the extra postage on it to whoever is getting it. That's it. Now, don't be discouraged, okay? If you do this, you are going to receive some really not so nice pocket letters. It's going to look like somebody just slapped a couple of pieces of paper on there and then put it in the mail. There's not a lot of stuff in there, and sometimes you'll get stuff that's like just all strictly from the Dollar Tree. Don't be discouraged. If you're getting stuff, it's not about that stuff. It's about the pocket letter, okay? So when you get your pocket letter, look at the beauty of what you have in the art that that person has created for you. And don't worry about the goodies. Now, if you get a partner that you get all the time and you guys want to swap a whole bunch of stuff, swap till your heart is content. Load that sucker up. Pay $6, $7 to ship it. But, a first-time partner, this is a sufficient pocket letter to send to that person. Okay? So that's it. That's what a pocket letter is. That's how it's put together. That's how it's built. You just have to kind of follow the formula. Whatever the topic is, build your pocket letter. Okay? If you want to save some weight, you don't have to do 2 layers of cardstock in there. You can just do just the back piece and dress it up with tape or, tissue paper or whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you just want to use white cardstock and you want to paint it or stamp it. That's okay. However you want to express yourself. Okay? But just remember that sometimes You know, you get pocket letters from people that don't get out. You'll get pocket letters from people that maybe their stash is not as extensive as yours. You will get pocket letters from people who, quite honestly, just don't care. It happens. Don't get discouraged, okay? That's it. That's all I have for you. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. Check out my community tab. Tells you everything that I got coming up. And scoot on over to my Facebook group. There's a link in the description box below. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.